Today, I want to tell you about one of my secret weapons, one of the habits of the things that I have no doubt have made me so much better through the years, and I've been doing this for over a decade now. One of the things that are simple, easy, and yet so many people do not do it enough, and that you can start right now and probably have everything you need right within your hands right now or on your desk, and doing it will make you a much better executive, IC, doesn't matter, a better parent also, by the way, better everything. And that is my secret weapon of taking notes. Lots and lots and lots of notes. These aren't even all the notebooks I've filled throughout the years. They're just the ones that I found nearby just to show you on screen. As you can see, I've got a bunch of small ones. I've got a bunch of bigger ones. I'll let my kids put on stickers on them if they wanted. And for me, notes are an amazing weapon, and I'm going to tell you precisely how I use them and why it helps me. And it's not just, I don't know, the second brain sort of stuff, even though we can touch that as well. It's just something so simple that makes me so much better. And within a few minutes, I hope to get you interested enough to start taking some notes. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be on paper. Actually you see all of these notebooks, and yet most of my writing doesn't go in the physical notebooks, but in the computer. So I'm gonna share a bit about that. I think it's really gonna help you. I think it's something that everyone should try at least for a while. And in general, I think it can improve your life so much, and it's just something that I think is really nice to do. So we're gonna talk about all of that today. And before I get to that, just wanted to say hi if you're new here. I'm Aviv Ben-Yosef. I'm a tech executive coach and consultant. I help people just like you create teams worth leading because life's too short to lead mediocre teams. And our subject today isn't related specifically to being a tech executive. This is about any sort of leadership. And again, you don't even have to be a leader, any sort of position where you want to improve, or personally, or even hobbies. Everything you care about, if you take the time to write, it's going to help you so much. First thing is that research shows us, and I hate when people say research shows us, but this is something that I started doing after reading so many books, and I saw how much it has helped me in real life. Research tells us that when we take the time to think about what we do, about our thoughts, about if you have some rumination, those things that keep on going in your head, just writing it down, processing it can really help you a lot. 11 years ago, my grandma died, and my grandma was like a mother. For me, I used to live in her house after my grandpa died, etc. And it was very tough on me, and for weeks after her death, my brain kept spiraling about her last moments, about her last couple of hours, and it would not let go. And then I remember that I read this protocol about how to journal about not a traumatic experience, but about an experience that troubles you, and see that you help your brain get some closure. And I did that. I wrote pages and pages and pages, and again, every few months I'm reminded about that and about how much that month was really hard for me. And within, like, instantly, the second I finished doing that thing, it has helped me move on immediately. It has really helped me. And that alone is worth the entire habit of having all these notes. But from then, I started doing it with so many things, a lot simpler, and yet things that kept those loops in your head, like about a mistake, a stupid mistake, or was I being too tough on one of my children, or something with a client, whatever it is. This really helps you move on and move forward. And I think that if you take anything from this, and it will help you, be it professionally or in your personal life, I'm going to be very, very, very happy. So that's all I'm trying to do today, expose you to something that can really help you. Now, let's talk a bit about what I'm even talking about when I'm saying notes. Yeah, you see all of this, and maybe for you, it looks so scary thinking that I've filled out thousands of pages, and you're like, oh my God, who's ever going to write so much? Now, yeah, I agree. It might be intimidating if you're not used to it. But I will say that my notes, a lot of them are like, daily stuff I was at this client, this is what we did, here's something I need to think about. And then, I'm moving another page, 2018 goals. And looking at this, I have like 3 things here. Okay, nothing too big. I just wrote a bit. And then I see myself practicing Italian. Yeah, I've been doing it for years. And let's go a bit more. Oh, okay, here's like my thinking. I just did a checklist here about a big change we were doing and the things I need to keep in mind. Simple, the type of stuff that takes you like seconds to write. I'm not writing Ulysses here. It's no War and Peace, something like that. I'm just taking down notes as they're coming to my head. And you can start with this habit right now. I started by having one of these small pocket notebooks. You can even just take a sheet of paper, a pen, and have it placed right next to you. What I did, the thing that really helped me get started is, I'm pointing there because that's where my computer is. Right there, next to my keyboard, where most people tend to have like their phone, they're waiting for them to pop a notification. I moved the phone a bit, so it's not as close to me. It's not within immediate reach. And instead, what I put there is the notebook already open with the pen. And I usually already have the date on top for a page for each day. And it's just waiting. And whenever I have an idea, or a nagging thought, or I remember something that I need to do, I just write it down and continue. I can do that as I'm working on an article, as I'm preparing for this video. During client conversations, client calls, I usually take notes digitally so I can look them up fast. So I have, if I'm on Zoom, I have a split screen with Zoom and the notes. And still, I have the notebook in front of me for anything that pops into my head that's not related specifically to that client. So I don't have to break out of the meeting. The second I have some thought that might take me from the conversation, I write it down real quickly. Just, I write a couple of words so I remember what it was, and it really helps my brain disengage immediately. So that's how you can start. And I recommend picking pen and paper because I think that it just clicks differently in our brains. And still, if you have to start with an app on your laptop, that's perfectly fine as well. Just get started with having this habit of having this text file there at the ready, waiting for you to start giving it your thoughts and dumping them, because that can really help you. Now, let's talk a bit about what I'm getting out of these, because a lot of people have the wrong notion of why we should be taking notes. First, I'm not taking notes out of nostalgia, okay? I don't think that my kids are gonna be reading these, okay? It's nonsensical, and there are a lot of daily things that are just uninteresting, and it's me writing stuff like, I like the wine we had yesterday. I need to talk to that friend of mine. A bunch of things there. I'm just opening a random page. I need to work on my dough for the cornetto I'm making. Whatever, that sort of stuff. So for my kids, it's not as if I'm leaving anything for anyone. This is for me. It's sort of a working brain sort of helper. But having this realization really helps it become something that I do without thinking about it too much. I don't want to treat every page as if I'm writing something important. No, this is scrap paper for me. Okay, just scraps. I'm just writing whatever comes to me, and it's nicer to have it in a notebook because then I can access it again. But as I'm writing day to day, most of the time, I'm not thinking about what I'm going to be doing with in the future. And this is not for nostalgia, even though it's nice, but this is for immediately me doing, acting, and just helping my brain. So that's the first. You just need to start writing. You don't need to think about the structure of the sentences or anything. When I'm writing my book, I'm writing a book, or when I'm writing an article, I'm working on an article. But these are not the same. These are just brain dumps. So I usually write in bullet points. I write sentences that are half understood and probably not understood for anyone that's not inside my brain. And I also, English being my second language, I've never learned cursive in school. So I came up with my own sort of cursive writing because it's easier for me with my fancy fountain pens. And I came up with something I never even thought about it, but just now, as my kids are studying in the Italian school we're going to in Rome, they're starting to learn cursive because that's what they use in class. So we bought the actual workbook so for them to learn how to write in cursive. And I'm looking, oh my God, I've made up so many letters, and I'm seeing how, it's really supposed to be written. And I think that doing this helps you sort of shape yourself. It makes you get some more character than being another person rushing from one meeting to the next. I like being that odd person that has like the fancy notebook with the fancy fountain pen that opens them and is ready to talk about things and always can flip through to what we said in the previous meeting. Yeah, it's a bit old school, but I like it. I think it really helps me. And having this day-to-day ability, it makes me so much more effective. I'm in a meeting, I just remember, oh, we need to talk to that teacher. I need to tell my other client about this. And I just remembered that someone asked me to do that. I just write those down. Also, for me, someone that's creating content, it's really helpful for me to have that sheet of paper open in front of me. And whenever I'm talking to someone and I notice that I just said something like, oh, that's actually a good nugget. That's something that maybe I can expand on in a video or in an article. You just write it down so I don't forget it. It just makes me so much more effective because it means that my brain can focus on what I need to be focusing on, and anything that I notice as I'm talking, I can just put aside in the notebook and know that it's going to be there if I ever actually need it. So that's first. Start just writing day to day. It's going to help you, and you don't need to think about it as being anything grand. Now, another thing to understand about writing is that writing makes you so much more mindful and present in whatever you're doing. And this is not about something like meditation, but the fact is, when I'm in a meeting and I have the pen in my hand and I'm just waiting to see whenever a nugget comes, something interesting in the meeting, some action item, whatever that I need to write down, I'm going to be doing it. Whenever my brain goes somewhere, I'm writing it down real fast so my brain can get back on track. It makes me so much more mindful and present. And I'm always attentive of what's happening. And I'm not writing down so I remember things into the future. I'm writing down already makes me so much more present that I'm getting so much more from the meeting itself. I'm there. I'm processing it. I'm less likely to think about what I'm going to have for lunch. And I'm much more likely to be involved, to engage more of my brain in the meeting, to remember more of it, to actually think harder and really participate, as opposed to just being present yet not really present. And I think that just that by itself can make you so much more effective in your meetings. And we all know that we're spending so much time in meetings nowadays. Might as well make that time well spent, time where you were mindful and present, so you get out of those meetings the maximum of what you can get. And you're not just wasting your life sitting in Zoom after Zoom and conference room and etc., getting nothing out of it. When my clients see that I'm saying, just a sec, this is important, I'm writing it down, and they see when I'm noticing that something is important, they can see that I'm there and I'm attentive, and it just makes people treat meetings differently. Yes, I'm taking a lot of responsibility on myself to be the person driving it, but I'm okay with it, because if no one else is going to do it, I prefer being the one doing it than just being yet another person not doing it and letting time slip by. Called it. That's another thing that I find really helpful when I'm writing. I force myself to call it, to say what I think is going to happen, what my thinking is, what my intuition is. And this has several benefits. First of all, just the act of calling it, of making a prediction, already makes you think about things better. So when I'm wrapping things up with a client, I'm trying to call it, what I think is going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months with them. When I see something interesting in the news, a change, I talk to someone, I do something in the business, I call it, I say what I expect to happen, because that makes me think about it more. And having the call it thing means that I cannot fluff myself. When I talk to that person again a year later, I open my notes, I see what I wrote about that person, what I expected to happen, I contrast that with what actually has happened, and that gives me this feedback loop. It really makes me so much better, because I can actually see what my intuition, what my thinking was, and what actually happened. And that helps me adjust my attitude, adjust my thinking, notice if I have any gaps or the sort of stuff that I have a sense of smell for, and I can notice much, much earlier than most people around me. And then I know, okay, that's another superpower I have. I need to be using that more, that sort of stuff. So when I have my notebooks with my predictions at the ready, I can always learn much faster, because I cannot just say, yeah, I remember I thought this, we thought that, we said this. No, I have my thinking. And if it actually happened like I was thinking, I can pat myself on the back. If on the shoulder, you pat yourself on the shoulder? No. And if I made a mistake or if I missed something, I have my thinking right there on the page and I can learn from it. Okay, I have it right in front of me, black on white. Usually for me it's like green on white because I like fancy inks in my fancy fountain pens. But I have it in front of me and I can actually learn from it. So that's another very useful effect of having the notebooks. It really gives you this sense of closure. It makes your learning so much faster. We keep talking about the importance of feedback loops in engineering and in general in life, right? Having the notebooks gives us another opportunity to create these feedback loops, because we can see exactly what we were thinking and we can then confront ourselves with reality later as things have actually come to place. And lastly, notes give me perspective, and it also does the same for my clients. When I'm working with a client, I usually actually write down verbatim quotes of what they're saying and I tag it so I can show it to them a month later, 2 months later, sometimes years later. I'm gonna say, do you remember this was being such a big thing? It was a big deal, you were worried about it, etc. And I do the same to myself. I have all of these thinking and anything, big or small, about our house, about purchase decisions, about my clients, about the business, about the move to Rome, all of those things, I have it written down. And when I look at it and I can see what I was thinking a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, it really helps me have this sense of perspective, because I can see so many of the things that were so much and worrying me and weighing down on me, and now I'm looking at them like, oh yeah, I barely even remember that. It really helps you understand. Life has that tendency of throwing things at you that at the moment, when you're there, it might feel really big and intimidating, but when you keep noticing this pattern and you have all the notes, it really helps you think, yeah, this too shall pass. And I'm usually not that zen, but the notes really help me. And this one is one from like 2020, and it has all of COVID, like the beginning of COVID in it. And as I was flipping through it, preparing for this video, I saw my thoughts from the first lockdowns and how stressed we were the first times we had to go and get tested because we were within the vicinity of someone, etc. And I remember thinking about all the things that could happen and what the future would look like with this, etc. And this really helps me, because now, like, our family members had COVID last week. Oh, okay, feel better. It's like another flu. And those things really help you see how things evolve and how so many of the things that seem so scary can become not as scary. Or you can be more relaxed in the day-to-day. And this applies in parenting, in your work, with your hobbies, in your personal growth, whatever it is. It really makes you a much better person, I think. And it's not a silver bullet. Just writing things down won't automatically make everything better, but it will almost guaranteed make some things better. And I think it's worth it. It's not that big of a hassle. It makes you better. And I will add that nowadays, where so many people don't have the habit of writing because we just let LLMs do all the writing for us, having the ability to write just a bit is going to make you stand out. You're going to maintain some of those skills that people are losing left and right. And that's critical to even use the LLMs better, but also to just be an effective, present, proactive person and leader in your company, in your role. Don't just wait for the LLMs to tell you what you need to be doing. You're in charge. These are supposed to be tools helping us, not guiding us. And I think that's critical if you ever want to learn and improve faster than comes to you naturally. Unless you're one of those unique talents, a prodigy that learns extremely fast without trying, I think that having the notebooks can help you improve. And for me, this has helped me improve with things like my Italian, in my parenting, in my relationships, in my business, in my workouts. I even write down how things are going on in my, can I find the specific workouts? It's somewhere in the stack below. I don't want to make everything fall in the middle of the video, but I've got specific notebooks for workouts that I take with me. Whatever it is, it really helps me think better, improve, be mindful, notice things, and have better feedback loop. With the course of time, as you're learning and letting the years go on, you're going to become better. What I'm reviewing from a year ago, 2 years ago, a decade, those notes really help me assess how I'm doing and improve. And I hope I can help you start, try it, and maybe improve as well. To wrap things up, I think you need to start. Just start. Open your notes app or have a sheet of paper in front of you and try something. Be it taking some notes during your meetings, be it reviewing some of the protocols I talked about. Like if you're interested in things about optimism and stopping rumination, you can look at things like Marty Seligman's Learned Optimism protocols, or protocols about handling traumatic events with journaling. Those are things that there are really researched protocols for that can really help you process some things. So just pick something. It just takes a few minutes, better than scrolling another feed, and you're gonna improve, and maybe you're just gonna get something amazing out of it. So try that. And before letting you go, I want to let you know that in a couple of weeks, I'm holding a free live session about the new non-negotiables of tech leadership in 2026. It's about a lot of things that I see being very impactful for my clients as I'm working with them right now, and I want you to have access to the same things. So just sign up for the free session. Even if you cannot attend live, you're going to get the recording. So why not do that? And maybe you can show up with your notebook in hand and get a lot out of it. I'm hoping to see you there. The details are in the video description, and I'll see you here in the next video. If you have any thoughts, any comments, let me know in the comments. I really appreciate that, and I'll see you here in the next video. Bye.